Unstable Games have made plenty of products that you probably recognize, from unstable unicorns to Here to Slay. Today we're going to be talking about Happy Little Dinosaurs, one of my favorites, mainly because it's about dinosaurs. So let's get started. First off, it comes with a little rulebook, like most games do, that tells you exactly how to play, all the different rules, shows you how to set up your table. There's a little depiction of how you set up your table. You got your little character board, you got your decks, discard piles, which we'll get into a little bit. So the first thing you're going to do, like a lot of their games, you're going to pick a character. In the base game, there are 4 characters to pick from. So it's a 4-player game. You have Stego, Nervous Rex, Triceratops, and Bad Luck Bronto. Now when you pick which character you want, you put it in front of you and you open it up like this. This will be the route you take to try to win. And this is where your disaster cards will go, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then this is bonuses and minuses you get depending on the disaster card, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now that you picked your character, you get your meeple. So let's say you picked Bad Luck Bronto. You get your little meeple. Each character has its own meeple, and as you're playing, the meeple will go on your board, and you'll start on where it says start. Now when you get started, you'll have a main deck, and each person gets 5 cards from the main deck. And there are multiple types of cards that you'll get from the main deck, some of which are the point cards. If you start your hand without any point cards, you discard your hand and draw 5 more cards. This is how you play the game. You'll have these cards, and at the start of the turn, everybody plays 1 point card face down. Now, some of the point cards have no abilities, and some of them have abilities that do all kinds of different things, interact in different ways. But basically, you'll play your card face down, everybody reveals the card, whoever has the highest point wins that round. But then there's, of course, abilities to take into account. There are the character things to take into account, which we'll get into a little bit. Now, the other cards you're going to have are the instant cards. These are cards you play after everybody reveals their point card, or when it says. It'll say on it when to play it. Right there. Play this card during scoring. So when you're scoring your point cards, you're going to play this card. And you subtract 2 points from any player's score this round. So basically, if you're doing a round, and let's say you had your handy dandy cool stick out, well, he only has 1 point, so obviously you're not going to do very well. So you could use instant cards to help you, like score inversion, which changes the lowest score with the highest score. So then all of a sudden you had your cool stick and it switches with the highest score. And then there's score boosters, which increase your score, or you can use and increase somebody else's score, so you can use the score inversion or any other combo of things. The only one that is different is this one, disaster insurance, which is you play the card when you would add a disaster card to your disaster area, which is right here. That's your disaster area. At the start of the round, before everybody puts their point card down, you put down a disaster card. There are 3 colors, but there's technically 4 types, because this one counts as one of each color when it adds to your disaster area. So there had the 3 colors, the red, blue, and the green. And then, so each turn at the beginning of the round, you would reveal one of these, and that's the disaster everybody's trying to avoid. So we go back to the character, and you have this little here. So say it's a green one, you get +1 to your score. If it's a red one, you get -1. And they all have this. The only one that's different is Stego, who his is specifically for the meteor. For this one, he's the only one that gets a bonus or a minus from this one. Everybody else gets nothing. So back to the disaster insurance, because we kind of missed a step. Anyway, so if you're to lose and you gain a disaster card, you can just play this, and it puts it back to the disaster deck to avoid the disaster. You start a round, you reveal the disaster card, everybody plays their point card face down, Everybody reveals the point card. Everybody plays whatever instant cards they want. They factor in the characters, little bonuses for the disaster, and the round is completely over. You're figuring out the points. Now, what you're going to do, say you win. You're going to take your little meeple, and you're going to move it by however many points you got that round. So let's just say you got 7. So you got 7 points, so you get to move 7 spaces. Only the person who wins gets to move by how many points they got that round. Now, also, at the end of the round, everyone gets to move for however many disaster cards they have in their disaster area. So say the person that won got a 7, they would move the 7, and then say they have 2 disaster cards. They would move 2 more spaces. Or say you lose, and so you don't get to move anything for your points, but you just gained a disaster card, and maybe you already had a disaster card. So then you still get to move 2 points. And how you win, well, one of the ways you win is by getting to right there where it literally says win. How you lose is by somebody else getting to win, or if you have all 3 colors, the blue, the red, and the green, 3 of the same color, so 3 greens, well, I mean, that's how you lose. But then also, that's where the meteor comes in, because the meteor counts as 1 of each. So say you only have the red and the green, and then you get a meteor. This will count as the blue, so then you'll lose. Or say you have 2 red, and then you get a meteor. This will count as the 3rd red, so then you lose. Which is where this guy comes in major handy. And one I forgot to mention before, Disaster Redirect, which you would play this whenever you would add a disaster card to your area. You can instead send it to somebody else's area, which is really good if you lose the round and a disaster would come to you that would make you lose the game. You can send it to somebody else. They could then play disaster insurance to stop it, but at least you'd be safe. So in summary, at the beginning of the round, you have your 5 cards. You reveal the disaster card. You all play a point card face down. You reveal it. You play whatever instant cards you want to play. Factor in the characters negative or plus for the disaster card. And you determine who wins by whoever has the most points. And the winner moves that number of points. And then everybody moves for how many ever disaster cards they have. Whenever you get 3 of the same color, 3 of the different colors, you lose. When somebody gets to the win spot, they win and everybody else loses. Pretty simple, pretty fun. I like it. My friends like it. We played it a bunch of times. I think you should check it out. There are multiple expansions to the game, one of which I've made a video of. You should check out. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you don't want to miss out on any new videos.